and a 1, and a 2, and a skiddly do. Welcome back to the podcast that will make you crack. We're the only boys who will talk smack about butt cracks. My name is BIGS and I like big women.
I'm MUMKEY and I hate One Piece.
One Piece is gay, just like my favorite character, Bon Clay. Even though it's more accurate to say he's a tranny, but I don't want to touch myself on the fanny. Did you know that British people call a pussy a fanny? I thought that fanny meant butt.
I actually didn't know that.
I think they do. If we have any British fans in the audience, go ahead and commit suicide. We don't care about anything you have to say.
Learn how to properly season your food when you cook.
What do you mean?
Food is disgusting.
You tried to make me go to the British pub for lunch today, and I said, no, let's go get some refined Burger King. If I'm going to eat the food of a monarchy, it's going to be a Burger King and not some fucking British pub.
The only thing they know how to make well is fish and chips. Everything else I've tried at that restaurant is bland, has no flavor.
What else did you try there? You've only had the fish.
No, I tried their burgers, and I got the bangers and mash ones.
Yeah, you should not. There's no restaurant where a $14 burger is worth it when fucking Bebop's is down the street from my house, and you can get the best fucking greasy-ass burger for $4.50.
I thought, bare minimum, they would at least put salt and pepper in their burger meat when they're cooking it.
Wait, bare minimum? What, do they eat bears over there? What is this, the plot of...
take a bite of it,
Brave?
You'll just taste just bland ground beef. Literally anything more would do better.
Folks, we've got a wild podcast for you today. I mean, we're already reviewing local restaurants in a city you'll never visit. It's only going to go uphill from here, baby.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to do a little bit of Kino talk. We're going to talk about why BIGS was out of town for, it seems like 6 weeks this time. So many things on the agenda for this huge, epic episode of the MUMKEY and BIGS show. BIGS, how was the gay wedding in Florida that you abandoned all of us to go, be a part of? Or were you the second best man?
Yeah,
the maid of honor?
A groomsman.
So you were the man grooming the children at the wedding, the groomsman. How many kids did you groom at this wedding? 5? 6?
I don't like this joke.
7? 8? BIGS, I know a lot of numbers. I can keep counting until you reveal the truth. 9? 10?
Sure you would like 9, you Nazi. 9.
BIGS, how was the wedding? Anything worthwhile?
I mean, it was a nice wedding, right next to the ocean. There was a good breeze, and it was nice with the I can't think of the word.
We just recorded a full hour of the BIGS chiller, so if we're a little scatterbrained and tired, you know why. The BIGS chiller was an intense thrill ride, and you can expect to see that very soon here on the channel.
Yeah, it was a nice view. The sunset was nice, but it wasn't real. There wasn't really anything like big that happened. It was a wedding.
Well, you were there. That's pretty BIGS.
I feel like most people have been to weddings. They're not super exciting, I guess.
Well, speaking of weddings, BIGS, I got some bad news. I found out Patchy's wedding is happening, evidently, in September. And as the best man...
Do you remember?
The 20th? I got some bad news. I'm in charge of planning the bachelor party. And... let me just say...
So that means we're going to be watching One Piece all night?
Well, I've been to a handful of weddings in my life, exclusively just weddings of family members, because none of my friends, I mean, let's be honest, none of my friends will ever get married, so it goes without saying that I've never been to a friend's wedding before. I mean, when my friends include you and Cobb, it's pretty safe to say I'm never gonna be going to a friend's wedding. But this is the first wedding I'm actually a part of, and I'm not just like, I don't just show up in the crowd for the 2-hour ceremony and then I gotta go home. I guess as the best man of my brother's wedding, I have to actually put in work and do shit. And that's pretty annoying. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to do anything, but I guess I have to plan the bachelor party. And since you are one of Patchy's closest friends that I know of, you, of course, will be attending. So, as the best man and an officiator of this wedding, I am going to bestow upon you the title of the best man's man. You will be my co-chair here in planning the bachelor party. That is your only duty, is to help me plan this bachelor party. I don't know if this is how usual wedding planning goes, but I'm making up a brand new title. You're the best man's man. So, Biggs, what the fuck are we gonna do for a bachelor party in the middle of Iowa in the summer? Like, what, are we gonna go to the fucking state fair, ride on a cow, play with some pig testicles, eat a kernel of corn? Deep fry some spam and shove it up our asses? What the fuck are we supposed to do for fun? Are bachelor parties supposed to be strip clubs? Like, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do? I've never been to one because none of my friends will ever get married.
So, I don't know. Bachelor parties, like strip club thing, that's...
Have you been to a bachelor party?
Yeah.
What was it?
To me...
What was it?
The strip club scene is more for like your fratty, more like Chad boys or whatever. Like,
is that the one you went to?
That's not stuff that people like us would generally do.
So what was the one you went to?
The one I did, so we did an escape room, which was pretty fun. That was the first time I had ever done one. We failed by a minute. We were a minute short on the time. But the escape room was fun. I think if...
Is that Escape Iowa?
It was someplace out in Jordan Creek. I don't remember what it was called. But, so, I mean, that's an idea. After that, we just went back and like did a game night, basically a bunch of board games, video games, whatever. And then we also went out and did tactical laser tag, which was honestly a lot of fun. Like they got you set up in this gear. You all had rifles that were like, it wasn't like laser pistols, you know, it was like actual rifles. It was really sweet. And there's like this huge warehouse where they built a building inside, and then there's like 2 floors that you could go through, and it was like all of us versus a group of strangers. So, I mean, those are fun.
So not only do I have to plan this party, but now I have to, like, fucking get in tactical gear and pretend I'm in the army and shoot at, like, some fucking... some Navy SEAL wannabe.
We don't necessarily have to do that.
I have to, like, run around and be athletic. I can't just sit there while a stripper grinds her ass on my fat monkey cock.
We could, like, go to an arcade. Those are fun.
Yeah, I know that there's the barcade downtown Des Moines, Up Down, that we go to all the time. I was wondering maybe if that would be an appropriate venue for this. I don't know. I hope all my brother's friends are at least 21, because you have to be 21 to get in there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of bachelor parties, typically you end up at a bar at some point. So yeah, I think the barcade would be a good idea.
Oh, is that it? Did we just plan the whole party? Just
go to Up Down?
Tell all of Patchy's friends, hey, meet at Up Down at 7 p.m. on this day, and then a strip club is optional afterwards. Biggs' mom is working the front stage from 10 to 11, so we should try to get there at 11:01 if possible.
I'm sure if there's more things we can add on to it. I mean, is it going to be like a night thing that we do, or is it going to be a full day where we try to do something? Because like we can go bowling. That's fun. A lot of us like bowling.
Who's in charge of paying for this shit? Is it going to be me? Because I don't know if I want to pay for 10 people to go bowling and to a fucking barcade.
Group rates for bowling is actually not bad. And I would assume at the barcade, you wouldn't be paying for everyone, just Patchy.
Wait, I have to pay for him now, too?
Well, I mean, it's his bachelor party.
It's not my fault he's getting married. I didn't tell him to do that shit.
I don't think it's implied that you would have to pay for his friends to drink all night. I think that it's fine for them to pay for their own stuff.
And maybe I'm just, you know what, maybe I'm just a little cranky that I don't have any experience with bachelor parties because I've never been invited to one. And now I have a good excuse to pretend like I don't know how this very typical social environment should take place, because nobody has ever invited me to a bachelor party.
The beauty of a bachelor party is it can be whatever you want. Like if you and your group of friends, like you guys know what you like to do. You don't have to like go out of your element to try and do something that everyone else does for bachelor parties. If you wanted, we could literally sit at your house and play the game of life with
You think that's what Patchy wants to do?
And we could do that for a bachelor party if we really wanted.
But if we're breaking down the philosophy of a bachelor party, the reason why they always go to strip clubs or something like that is because it's like a celebration of one final night of single life with the boys, right? And I think as a married man, Patchy can still come over and play the game of life with his friends. We have to do something as if it's the last night he's a free man. We have to do something intense and crazy, like go to Vegas, like the Hangover movie. Somebody gets locked up on the roof. Somebody gets hit by a car.
But here's like the big disconnect for me, at least. In a lot of those movie scenarios where they like go do these huge things because they're losing their best friend, blah, blah, blah.
Which is fair.
In those situations, it's like they're not really good friends with the fiance. Whereas in most of the situations where I've been in with bachelor parties, and like this one, where the fiance is like one of the boys anyways, like we're friends with her too.
With Patchy's fiance?
So it's not
you
like,
think I'm friends with her?
So it's not like we're losing him. I mean, she's always been around anyway. She's part of the hangouts.
That's true. They have been dating since 5th fucking grade.
So yeah, it's not like, I don't know, it's not that big, one last hurrah with the boys before we lose them for good. It's going to be the same thing as it has always been, really.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, after we did the BIGS chiller and I saw that you're now engaged to the winner of the BIGS chiller, I'm worried about losing you. So really, this isn't less about my brother Patchy and more about like what will we do with our final night with BIGS as a single man? Because as soon as you get married, it's going to be the exact opposite of the scenario you just described. I guarantee when you're married, you're abandoning all your friends like fucking Cobb or all these classic stories, and it's going to be, you know, the ball and chain. You're going to be with the wife 24/7, no time for the boys. And I'm trying to figure out for your eventual bachelor party, what should our last hurrah be? Like Wings of Redemption once said, this is
my
the last hurrah.
It's got to be a road trip, man. I mean, we went like
Goat Tower
3 or 4 years in a row. Did road trips, and then we stopped doing them. And I think a bachelor party for me would be one last trip to the Goat Tower.
So 4 hours to the east to Illinois to go visit the Goat
and then
Tower.
Get lost going down to St. Louis because for some reason nobody remembered it was in Missouri.
Right.
And then everybody gets mad, and then next thing you know, we're driving back up towards home, but they get sidetracked again. And next thing you know, we're on the road for 20 hours, and it was supposed to be an 8-hour trip.
Did we ever take a road trip to the Omaha Zoo? We wanted to go in all 4 directions. We went north to Mall of America, east to the Goat Tower, south to Branson. Did we ever go
Yeah, we never
west?
did do the west trip, did we?
Maybe Omaha Zoo is our final frontier. Got to travel west into the sunset.
Yeah, we got to release you back into the cage with the other monkeys, and that'll be my goodbye to my fellow friend after
What zoo was
married.
it? What zoo was it that Harambe was killed in? Was that San Diego?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
We should go see where Harambe was killed for your bachelor party.
We'll throw you into the next gorilla cage. They're not going to fire, though, because you belong.
Right, yeah, if anything, they'll just build the fence up higher while I'm in there.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to do for your bachelor party, is a big road trip? Should we covertly plan a road trip for Patchy and his friends now that we have road trips on the mind? Does anybody have a vehicle large enough for like 8 dudes?
I don't think so, because
No.
he has what, like a crossover, but it only fits like 4 people.
Yeah. If we rented a party van, would that van want to go on a 10-hour road trip with us?
I don't know.
And how much money are you going to contribute?
The question is, like, where would we go to?
Where would Patchy want to go? Well, you know what we should do? You know what we should do is just plan a trip that we want to go on.
And just force him to go.
And drag him and all his high school friends along. Like, we could take them down to Branson to make them all see the Shoji Tabuchi show.
Also, I'm starting to realize the whole covert idea might be tongue-in-cheek because he watches this show.
Him and his fiance listen to the show, which is why I try to talk as much shit about them as possible, because I know they listen to this shit. We were just, they just moved. So I'm actually seeing Patchy a lot more now. He used to live 2 hours away, but I spent last weekend helping him move to a city like 40 minutes from me, so now I'm seeing him all the time. And Biggs and me and everybody was over at their new apartment, and we went out for dinner, but Biggs was not hungry and did not want to climb down the stairs, so he stayed back. And we come back to the apartment and find Biggs listening to the MUMKEY and Heartsy show. Biggs is sitting alone in Patchy's apartment listening to the previous episode of this podcast.
I hadn't listen to it at that point.
Well, what did you think? Do you think Heartsy was a good replacement for you? Do you think he was better than you?
Yeah, I think he was a lot better than me. I mean, he had a lot more to say. He could carry the conversation on his own, whereas me, I need somebody to piggyback off of, otherwise it's dead silence.
Do you think you could talk about Sonic the Hedgehog for 15 minutes?
I couldn't. I was very impressed at the aptitude he had for talking about Sonic on the show.
Well, you might recall I asked Heartsy to give you a performance review on this podcast, and he gave you a B for BIGS. So if you had to give Heartsy a performance review as your replacement, what letter grade would you give him?
Well, there's no H available for Heartsy.
I mean, you could.
True.
It's pretty low, though. I mean,
Yeah.
H is below F, I believe, if my alphabet
Well, I was gonna say,
chronology is correct in my brain.
I could just skip the H and go straight to the A and give him A for Artsy.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll give him S tier for Sonic.
That would also be appropriate. So you're saying Heartsy is far superior to yourself in
In
terms
every way imaginable. He is a handsome boy with a bright future ahead of him.
well, shit.
And
he may or may not be your lady love after the BIGS chiller. Who can say?
yeah, well, we won't know until it comes out.
Yeah, everybody's on the edge of their seat. Okay, I guess we'll either go to the Up Down Barcade or we'll make everybody go see the Shoji Tabuchi show. Shoji's got to be at least 95 years old at this point, so we should at least take Patchy there before he dies. I don't think Patchy knows what the Shoji Tabuchi show is. I don't think he's a fan of Red Letter Media, and certainly not that one specific episode where they talk about him. But I've been meaning to make a video on my main channel about why Wheel of the Worst is my favorite show of all time, which is of course the sub show within Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst, and Wheel of the Worst currently has like 21 episodes, and I really want to like just dive into it and explain why I like it, and like maybe do a tier list of my favorite episodes and all that stuff. And one segment of the video is going to be talking about our personal connection to the Shoji Tabuchi show, because there's one episode where they watch his VHS, or his little show, and I was so enamored that I dragged BIGS to Branson with me, and we stayed the night in a hotel, and we saw Shoji in person. We got a photo with him. I still have my ticket, my admittance ticket to the show. I carry it in my wallet every day, and I thought, yeah, this will be a great little segment to put in the video. Who else can say that they have a photo with Shoji Tabuchi?
Yeah, and like it's just funny thinking back, because we watched the episode of Wheel of the Worst. We see Shoji's little VHS video, and immediately MUMKEY fell in love with his daughter. And
I don't think that's true. I'm not into blondes.
Once we finally got to meet her, he just couldn't help but wrapping his arms around her and embracing her.
I didn't touch her. What are you fucking talking about? In the photo, neither one of us wanted to stand next to her. We both wanted to stand next to Shoji, so she's like awkwardly the fourth wheel in the photo, because we're both like crowding around Shoji.
As soon as we went over for pictures, I didn't even hesitate. I put my arm right around Shoji's waist.
Yeah, pretty good. I guess maybe that should be the thumbnail, is us meeting Shoji for this podcast. Well, speaking of reviewing things, which is not anything that we've talked about this episode, but it's the transition anyway. Want to do some mini Is It Kinos here, BIGS?
Yeah.
You said that you recently saw the movie A Quiet Place Part 2, and I actually saw it on opening night, which had a live Q&A of J.J. Abrams interviewing John Krasinski. They somehow did it live, even though I watched it in the movie theater. I don't know how they do that shit. I guess they just somehow project it through the computer. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But, so, what did you think of A Quiet Place Part Dos?
So I really liked it. I feel like, I can't remember whose review I watched, but I kind of agreed with it, where they said it kind of lost some of its initial like wow factors, because you already know like the monsters and how they work and stuff like that. But I still liked the story that they gave of how they kind of work towards getting the message out that there's a way to stop them still. But I guess one thing that really irritated me in that movie was how stupid the son was through the whole movie, I just wanted to punch him. I was hoping the monster would kill him the entire time because of how stupid he was.
Yeah, my favorite scene was definitely when his leg got trapped in a bear trap.
I could not help but laugh. We're in the movie theater and I'm laughing while he's screaming. And I don't know, even in the first movie, I just hated him. Like, he had no character growth or anything in both movies, and I just thought it was ridiculous that they didn't kill this character.
I think it's hard to have character growth in a movie where the characters aren't allowed to communicate or speak. Like, I think each character has 5 lines of dialogue.
You would think at least by the end of the second movie he would be like a stronger person after everything they've been through.
But he's just he's big
still
cuck.
The same whimpery little brat that has to go on adventures while his whole family's gone when he's supposed to be watching the baby, and he just goes upstairs and makes noise and causes the baby to be in grave danger. Like, what a moron.
He's trying to stop his sister from saving all of humanity.
Yeah.
No, let's just stay here and hide in this fucking safe or whatever that thing was. Let's just hide forever from the monsters. I know that you have a super secret way to defeat them, but no, let's just stay here for the rest of our lives. Don't try to save humanity from this plague.
Yeah, it was...
What a cuck.
Other than him, though, I thought overall it was a good movie. Like I said, it wasn't as much of a wow factor with... We already knew what the monsters were and how they worked. But the one thing I did really like, and what a lot of people asked for after the first one, is with the sequel, we wanted like a short prequel where it showed the day of it all happening.
Who wanted that?
And I remember I asked for it. I thought you had said you wanted it, but and then some
did we talk about the first movie?
I mean, probably in person, not on the show, but yeah, I thought it was cool how they showed like once the meteor like came down and like everything that happened right when the monsters arrived. I liked getting that piece of the story because it felt like it was missing that in the first one.
Here's why I'm going to call the film an abject failure. J.J. Abrams asked John Krasinski, like, why did you want to make a sequel, or when did you know you were going to...
He didn't want to make a sequel.
Yeah, here's his answer. He says, yeah, I had no plans of making a sequel. I just wanted to make the best standalone movie that I could. And then, between the lines, his answer is, but then we saw that the movie made $1 billion, and I realized I could just shit out a fucking shitty sequel and make a whole bunch of money again. He doesn't say that, but,
Well, yeah,
but he said it.
That was a good portion of it, but also, the fan outreach for a sequel was also decent.
Which is not... That's not the artistic integrity answer, is that the fans wanted it and it would have made a lot of money, so I chose to do it. Yeah, and he said, if I'm going to make a sequel, I just want to make sure that it has a reason to exist and it stands alone as its own movie, and I want it to be better than the original. Now, if those were his goals, I think he failed completely. This movie gives you nothing new from the original, no new scares, no new ideas. It's just stretching out a little bit more from the first movie. This gave me absolutely nothing new.
Yeah, a good way to put it is this is basically DLC for the first movie.
100%. Yeah. 100 fucking percent.
I agree with that, yeah.
Like this, it's so clear that this movie did not need to exist, and it's just, let's write another 90 minutes of story to stretch out the first movie so that we can make another $150 million. And now... now it's becoming a franchise. He could not resist having an open-ended ending to the sequel. It does not stand alone as its own movie because it doesn't have a beginning and it doesn't have a fucking end. It's just the middle piece of a story. How can you end a movie like this and then try to claim, I wanted to make a bigger and better standalone sequel? Clearly you fucking didn't, because the movie doesn't have an ending. And you went into it knowing that there's going to be a third one, which isn't even going to be written or directed by John Krasinski. He's handing over the reins of his own franchise to some other fucking guy. So now he's so greedy for the money, he's not even going to put in the work to make the next movie. And his character's dead, so he doesn't have to do anything. He just gets to rake in the money while the studio and some hired goon continue his story for him. It's the most tragic fucking shit. He made a good standalone movie, and now he just has money signs for eyes, and he's going to let them just fucking rape it to death while he keeps
like,
making money.
It's like the Mr. Krabs meme. It's like, why did you make the second movie? Money.
Yeah, why did you build a second Quiet Place? Money. That's right. 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, even with all that, I still like the movie. I mean...
At least Back to the Future 2, at least they go to the future. At least, like, that's something new. What is the new thing in this movie?
For me, I guess...
What new idea did they need to explore?
For me, I guess they didn't really need a new idea to
You just wanted
find
more
it
of the same.
I mean, sure.
Just watch the first movie again.
I mean, for me at least, when I watched the first one, it was like, oh, I wonder, what are they going to do after he's gone? Like, obviously, they're going to have to figure something out. Like, the head of the family's gone. They have this infant. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, so the deaf daughter becomes Arya Stark. Oh, now she might be 8 years old, but she's the most edgy badass ever, and she just goes straight into danger and can fight these horrible monsters because she's a little girl.
She comes off of losing her dad and not having that person who knows. Because, well, I guess I'm starting to forget now. In the first movie, was he alive when they figured out that her hearing aid was one of the causes to stop them or whatever?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But anyways... So she's like, well, I know if my dad was here, he would be like, yeah, we need to get this information out and stop these monsters. Whereas her mom's just like, no, let's hide in this hole. So, I mean, it kind of made sense for her to want to try and do something about it. She didn't want to sit in a hole and wait to inevitably die to these creatures. She heard this well, she didn't hear the radio station, but she found out these people exist and that they're apparently safe. And that there is a way to get this broadcasted out to where it stops the monsters inevitably. So, I mean, it made sense for her to want to go against what her mother's wishes were and try and stop this.
My main issue is that it's a movie that gives us nothing new, and it's a movie with no stakes.
Oh, well, technically,
what?
It did give us something new. We found out that the monsters can't swim.
Okay. Is that what we found out?
Yeah, because remember, that's why that little group, the island group of people were fine, because the monsters couldn't swim across to get to them.
But
apparently the monsters can be captains of ships and sail them.
True. My issue is, in the first movie, at least John Krasinski dies. At least it had the balls to kill off a main character.
Which is why I wanted the son to die in this movie for being stupid.
If the son would have died, I would give this movie props. At least that would be something. None of the main characters in this movie die. Even Scarecrow from Batman Begins, who was like the new John Krasinski in this movie. What's his fucking name? He was also in Inception as
no idea.
But you know who I'm talking about from the movie? Like, it was so obvious that he needed to die in this movie, right? Like, that was his arc, is that he doesn't want to help the family, so naturally his arc is going to be he sacrifices himself and dies to save the family, just like John Krasinski did. But they don't even have the balls to kill him off. At the end of the movie, he's still fucking alive.
Yeah, the only thing they did was, like, injure his leg, I think. They, like, sliced his leg, and that's it.
Like, if you're too scared to kill off a main family member, which you shouldn't be, the son should have died, that would have been great. At least kill off the character that you just threw into the sequel. You have no reason to keep him alive. Kill somebody. There's no stakes. How am I supposed to be scared of these monsters when literal children are dealing with them with no peril?
Yeah, so I think it would have been like way scarier for the audience members to watch this unfold. You know how he puts the baby in the thing and like the oxygen levels are dipping?
Yeah.
So it's implied that he doesn't realize the oxygen's low. When he left to go upstairs and he knocked over the shit, I think it would have been way better if the monsters made it up there and killed him, and then the infant is just alone. Like
suffocating
in the room.
Yeah, that's what I want.
And the mom comes back and has no idea what's going on. I think that would have been way scarier for the audience than this stupid kid to stumble up there, make noise, run downstairs, and then everyone's fine.
And then the mom opens up the vault and finds that her baby has suffocated to death. And then it's just like 20 full minutes. It's like from a ghost story with the pie scene, but it's just 20 full minutes and no camera breaks of the mom just weeping, holding her dead child, and there's nothing else happening for 20 full minutes. That would have been art. That would have been a genuine piece of fucking art.
Either that, or at the very least, like, have it to where the baby like ran out of oxygen. She has to like frantically bring it back to life while
you just want to see somebody. You want to see somebody do mouth to mouth with a baby, Biggs? Is that what you're saying?
You caught me.
Why are you licking your lips? Why are you rubbing your crotch?
No, I think that would have been way better and way more impactful than this stupid kid to make it back downstairs on a leg that just got put in a bear trap like 2 days before.
That kid should probably be dead.
And like, the whole idea with the kid being alone with the baby and making the noise and not having any consequences from it. It's just stupid.
The fact that there were no consequences for the son's little subplot makes it come across as filler.
Yeah,
because
that's all it was.
If you could cut those scenes out of the movie and it wouldn't change literally anything, it's 100% filler. That's how you know a sequel cash grab is a sequel cash grab, when there are scenes of pure fucking filler.
When a third of the movie is this side little thing that doesn't make any difference.
No, go watch Empire Strikes Back, like the most famous and critically lauded sequel of all time. Tell me if there's any filler in that movie. No? Oh, okay, but you have filler in your Quiet Place 2 sequel? Maybe you didn't need to make it. If you can't come up with 90 minutes of relevant material with stakes and consequences, it's just fucking filler to fill up the full-length feature film, maybe you don't need to make the movie, John. Maybe you're lying to yourself and saying... And J.J. Abrams is like, my friend, I gotta tell you, this was a horror masterpiece. Much better than the original. I applaud you. I don't know how you did it. And I'm like, JJ, you just made The Rise of Skywalker. If you're praising me for making a great movie after you make The Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to assume my movie's a huge piece of shit. Because you don't know anything about what makes a good movie, I don't think. I was just disappointed. What a waste of time.
And I don't know, I feel like another kind of wasted scene too was when they're on the docks and those random hillbillies come out and start attacking them. And like,
yeah, that should have been like, it was 2 minutes in the movie.
It should have been a bulk of the movie.
It should, yeah. That was actually interesting. Instead of the monsters being the monsters, let's see more of the other humans being the monsters.
That's a good point. That was one thing that did bug me while I was watching it. Is the guy that they run into? I can't remember his name or the actor's name. But he's like, yeah, these days the real monsters are the people that are left alive.
Just call him Scarecrow.
And then you only run into one other group of people, and you just kind of slide by it in a 2-minute scene. Like, yeah, if you have a character say something impactful like that, where it's like the real monsters are the people left, and then you just glide by.
That should be a major theme of the movie.
Yeah, because at least what was it? Was it Bird Box? Where like
I didn't see that one.
Well, there's a movie, I think it might have been Bird Box, but there's like a scene where there's other people that are left alive during this, this whole thing with the creatures in that movie. And they're like insane, and they're like on the creature's side for some reason. And they're like trying to kill the main cast. And that wasn't the same situation as this. These were just crazy people that wanted to hurt these people. But at least give them like 15 minutes of the movie, show like the reasoning behind doing what they're doing and how they're living and surviving. But no, we're just gonna have the guy jump on his back and then fall in the water, and then the monster kills everyone in 2 seconds.
Yeah, if we're gonna do a script doctor, here's how we make this movie better. Have the son and the mom fight the monsters, and have the son's the son should be punished for trying to stop the daughter from saving humanity. Like, if he's so content to live with the monsters and not try to stop them, then he should be punished by being killed by the monsters for his own mistakes. So that would have really gave the movie some stakes and tension and consequences, and this character's arc is he's being punished for trying to stop the savior of humanity. And Scarecrow and the daughter, instead of fighting the monsters the whole time, it should have been like a 30-minute arc of them up against the real monsters, which is their fellow man. And that would have, a great dichotomy of this pair of characters is fighting literal monsters, this pair of characters is fighting the humans. And then eventually they still, the daughter and Scarecrow still make it to the island. Everything can go the way it goes, but then also give the movie a fucking ending? Like, just end the movie. Or at least let us see the mom get reunited with the daughter again, because it sounds like in this third movie, they're planning on having it be about completely different characters in the same universe and not even about this family anymore. So what? We never get the resolution to this family's story?
Yeah.
What a waste.
At the very least, at the end of this movie, they could have had like some transmission from the military saying, oh, what's this signal and why is it affecting the monsters by us? Oh, maybe this signal can stop them, and like give us something that shows that all this work this girl put in actually was worth it, and that it didn't just help these one small group of people on this island. Like, yeah, I guess what was the end where she kills the monster and then pulls the pipe out of it and then it goes to credits? Was that the end?
Yeah, like the movie feels like it ended 15 minutes too early, and basically everybody I've talked to agreed with me on that. So like this is not just us being nitpicky. Basically everybody who saw the movie thinks there was a few scenes missing at the end.
You know who John could have really talked to about figuring out an ending for this movie?
Michael Scott?
No, I'm thinking the person who made the How to Make a Krabby Patty video on YouTube, because...
Oh, Double Sweet?
Because his video ended like 6 times, but it kept going.
So it's like the Return of the King. There's too many endings.
Yeah, he could have showed him at least how to end it once instead of 0 times.
So would you say A Quiet Place Part 2 is Kino, and if you would recommend it, who would you recommend it to? Personally,
even... with all that aside, I still liked the movie. I thought Scarecrow's character was pretty cool. I would recommend it to anybody that's seen the first one, but don't go into it expecting something amazing and new. That's what I would say. Don't expect anything new from this movie. It's just a continuation of the story. If you were curious as to what happened after the events of the first one, then you should watch it. If you're not, and you just like the first one as a standalone, then maybe skip this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you play the first 20 levels of Chip's Challenge and you think, oh man, I love Chip's Challenge. This movie's like if you then downloaded 5 more levels of Chip's Challenge. Like it's more of the exact same shit you've had. Nothing new to be seen. It's just more of it. And that's it. Well, shall we move on to another mini Kino about the episode 1 season premiere of Loki on Disney Plus? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Have you seen all of the backlash on Twitter of people who hate Loki?
I have not, actually.
If you had to guess why everybody... And first of all, do you like this show or not?
First episode, it was interesting. I mean, it caught my attention enough to want to watch the next episode.
Okay, if you had to guess why everybody on my Twitter timeline is shit-talking the show and saying it ruins the entire Marvel universe and that the creators just don't care about their fans at all, what would your guess be?
Was it the joke about the time stones?
The Infinity Stones? Yeah.
Yeah, the Infinity Stones being paperweights.
Yeah, I keep seeing people saying, oh... How do you like that, Marvel fans? You had 10 years of build-up all about collecting these stones, which is not true. Literally, Infinity War is the only movie that is focused on collecting all of these stones. Go show me from the first 15 movies where they were focused on collecting these stones. I implore you. Yes, they were in the movies, but it was not focused on fucking finding them in some epic fucking build-up. But, yeah, people are so angry. They're like, oh... What? The power scaling in this universe is out of control. Oh, in this pocket dimension where the literal gods of time exist, and there's no magic allowed? You're telling me that these magical stones don't work? Wow. All the build up for these stones was pointless then. All the stakes in this universe are dead. 'Cause in this one pocket dimension where there's no magic stones don't work. Hashtag cancel Marvel. Hashtag never watching Loki episode 2. Hashtag I'm taking this cape shit a little too seriously.
Yeah, I guess I've seen the opposite and heard the opposite from people. A lot of the people I've talked to about it have tried telling me that this first episode was better than all of WandaVision and all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier just in one episode. So, I mean, I guess there's a huge divide in the fandom, I guess.
Yeah, I might just be following a lot of the overly cynical and critical man-children who are getting genuinely upset about an episode of Cape Shit television. But I think Loki has the potential to be better than those other 2 shows. I enjoyed the first episode, even if I think some of the writing was a little...
I enjoyed the first episode. I wouldn't say the one episode is outstanding over the other 2 shows in completion. Like, I still like the other ones. But I can see if they head in the right direction with this, at least. I think it would be better than the other 2 for sure. it would definitely be probably more interesting than the others, since it delves into the multiverse, which is what we're going to be looking at in the next Doctor Strange.
Yeah, you want to talk about build up. This multiverse shit is what they're really building up to. Like all of WandaVision was talking about it. A lot of Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home was talking about it. And now this show is like really letting you know, if the multiverse happens, we are fucked. The whole reason why these time gods exist is to stop multiverses from springing up. Because if that happens, then we're fucked. Horrible shit's going to happen.
That's not necessarily true, because
that's what they said in the little cartoon.
Well, here's the thing. In the cartoon, it also shows that there is a multiverse, but they all exist in the same timeline. So there's multiple universes happening, but they're all in sync in this timeline. That's why it was saying it took all the multiverses and twisted them together into this single timeline. So there are other like universe instances within the single timeline, but they just don't want any to divert from it,
right?
And be out of sync.
And if that happens, then we'll have a multiverse of madness, which is the title of the next Doctor Strange movie.
So another thing, I don't know if you followed a lot of the fan theories of WandaVision, but they were saying that they think the main villain behind it was Mephisto, which is like the devil of it.
Yeah, and it turned out that the writers of that show didn't even know that character existed.
Yeah, and then the first episode of Loki, they're like in a chapel or something, and they look up at the stained glass window, and it's like what literally Mephisto looks like.
Well, it was devil horns sort of coming out, right?
Yeah, but it was like it wasn't like it wasn't a depiction of the devil. It was like a devil-like character like Mephisto is. So a lot of people are speculating like, oh, we told you so. There he is. There's Mephisto.
But isn't that just Loki? Because isn't it revealed that the enemy is Loki from like another timeline, and now they're getting Loki to help defeat the other Loki? Isn't that what they said?
They did say that, but I don't know.
Because Loki has those horns in the Avengers movie, right?
Right. But this person was like more of a like demonic, like actual literal character. Like he almost looked like one of the demons from like hell or whatever they call it in Marvel's universe. Maybe Hades is what they call it. I don't remember. So maybe people were right about Mephisto. Maybe they weren't. It's interesting to see where it's headed.
Who fucking cares about Mephisto, dude? Like, why do these people want it so bad? Like, oh, I just want the Marvel version of the devil to be in it, because the devil is fucking evil.
Well, a lot of these
dude.
people are following, like, old comics and stuff, and they see certain things line up, and they're like, oh, well, I guess if we follow this, then this is what's going to happen.
Well, can you give me one reason why I would want to see Mephisto? Because I don't know anything about this character.
Neither do I. I'm just saying that was another one that maybe they linked it with. Well, now that you say it, the writers of WandaVision didn't even know that he was a character. Obviously,
everything's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just got to be coincidental.
Another reason why my Twitter feed hates this show is because I think they might have misinterpreted what they were talking about when they said, like Loki says, no, don't arrest me. The Avengers are the ones who are time traveling. I could smell Tony Stark's clone from anywhere. Like, they're the ones who fucked with the timeline, not me. And then the time people say, well, yeah, but they were supposed to do that. What you're doing, you're not supposed to do.
Okay, so here's my issue with this, right?
Okay.
Because this actually legitimately upset me, and I had to pause it and have a conversation with my brother.
You might be the guy on my Twitter feed who's so upset. So let's see your issue, and then let's see if I can resolve the issue. Okay,
so the issue I have with that is they're like, what the Avengers did, they were supposed to do, right? Exactly what the Avengers did was what was always supposed to happen, but what happened with you isn't. What I don't understand is if what the Avengers did is exactly what was supposed to happen, then how is what happened with Loki not what was supposed to happen? If what happened with Loki didn't happen, then they would have never have had to gone back to when Tony's dad was alive to get the Tesseract, if Loki never got his hands on that Tesseract and disappeared. So how is that out of sync, but what the Avengers did isn't? Because if what they did was exactly in sync, then what would have caused Tony otherwise to go back and get a different Tesseract versus that one?
So I think the time gods in this show, they want what's best for the overall universe without... The idea is that the Avengers were very careful when they jumped into other timelines to return the stones immediately so that no branching timelines were created. There was a big scene about that in Endgame. Because if all these branching timelines end up existing, that's how the multiverse of madness is created, and that's how the entire universe is in danger of imploding on itself and being destroyed. So the Avengers covered their bases, and they stopped the branching timelines, whereas Loki was about to cause all sorts of shenanigans throughout time and space.
Here's my issue with it. Sure, yeah, what Loki was going to do, he wasn't going to ever return it, right?
He wasn't going to cover his bases and prevent the branching timelines.
Okay, that's not the issue, though. My problem is when they said this was never supposed to happen. If it was never supposed to happen, then how else would the Avengers have been able to do what they did perfectly if that's exactly what was supposed to happen?
I think it's just the idea of what Loki's doing is going to create too many branches, so we have to stop him in his tracks now.
They can't say this was never supposed to happen if it was in fact supposed to happen. That way the Avengers would end up being the Tesseract.
You're getting, the idea is these guys didn't make branches, Loki's making branches, we have to stop him.
But
it's that simple. It's that fucking simple.
I realize, but it doesn't make logical sense to say what they said, is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know if we're quoting them directly. We might be ad-libbing a little bit of what exactly
they had said was the Avengers was supposed to happen. What happened with you isn't. If it wasn't supposed to happen, then
which is why they're stopping him.
Then explain why Tony had to go back to a different time to get that.
They don't need to explain shit. It happened, and now they're stopping Loki before he can do anything. They're stopping him. That's their job. They're the time gods. They stop people from doing this shit.
Can we admit that their writing isn't the best in this situation?
Oh, I already said the writing in the episode was meh about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just...
My next issue with this episode was...
But I'm not done talking about this because the people are saying, so the time gods just decide what's supposed to happen, so there's no concept of free will in the Marvel Universe? Does that mean the Holocaust was supposed to happen and these time gods just watched the Holocaust happen? Now, the idea is to stop branching timelines because that will cause a multiverse of madness that destroys the entire universe. I don't think these time gods care about 6 million Jews dying on one fucking planet.
So, Monkey,
they're just trying to stop the entire universe from being destroyed. They don't give a fuck about the Jews. Now, if you're going to try to say that these time gods are villains in any way for not stopping the Holocaust, need I remind you, the Avengers have a time machine. That's all I gotta fucking say. The Avengers have a motherfucking time machine. Captain America used it not to stop the Holocaust, not to stop 9/11, but to go fuck the chick he had a crush on in 1940. Who's the fucking villain? Suck my monkey dick. What are you talking about? How could you forget that the Avengers have a time machine and you're bitching that these time gods who watched the entire universe didn't stop the Holocaust? Are you fucking kidding me? They didn't stop. Thanos holocausted hundreds of planets and they didn't stop them because that's not their job. Their job is to stop branching timelines that will implode the universe. They don't care about Holocaust. The Avengers should have stopped the Holocaust. Come on! Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Is this not nuts?
So what you're saying, MUMKEY, is
the
without
Avengers
9/11 and
the
Holocaust, we would have a universe madness scale problem.
I'm saying these time gods have nothing to do with free will. You can do whatever the fuck you want, as long as you're not creating alternative branching timelines. Unless you build a time machine or have the time stone, these time gods don't give a single fuck about what you do. That's it. That's my point. How in the fuck can people make this argument and forget that the heroes of the movies did not stop the Holocaust?
That's a very fair point.
So what were you going to say before I brought us back to this?
So my next issue with this episode was the lack of acting skill from the main... I don't even remember what they're called. Like the
Owen Wilson?
Like the guard or whatever she is.
The big black lady?
Yeah. Her acting was awful. Yeah. Just terrible. The whole episode, I could have swore she had the script in her hand. She was just reading it as bland as she could. Why could they not find somebody that was better at acting to play her role, or retake a few shots to make sure she knew, hey, we're rolling right now. Don't just read the script off. Like, you're supposed to act out the script. That really pulled me out of the immersion of the show every time she was on screen.
In contrast, the Filipino-looking guy who Loki takes as a hostage, and like he's the guy who says that they use the Infinity Stones as paperweights, he had a minor role in The Good Place, and I liked his character in that. And I thought he gave a pretty funny performance here, so I'll give him props. I think he did a good job.
His performance was at least believable. Like, he made you feel like he really was this guy that has been working in the TVA and he's disconnected from any idea of
he doesn't know,
outside.
Has no idea what a fish is, like, you know, classic stuff.
Got you like a fish. What's a fish? Like, I laughed at that one.
Yeah.
At least his character was believable and he got into the role. This other woman just didn't. She just, like, showed up for the paycheck, I guess.
I also like at the end when it's revealed that these time gods, all they have is the power to control time, but they can still be killed. Like, they get killed by fucking fire. Like, at the end, like, they get burned to death. And I thought that, well, that's great. People think that the power creeping is terrible because in a pocket dimension you can't use magic. But these beings that you're so afraid of power scaling this universe just got lit on fire and died at the end of the episode. So again, you might be just cherry picking what you want to see. And please realize the Infinity Stones are perfectly powerful everywhere else in this universe. This is just the one specific place where magic doesn't work. And you might be barking up the wrong tree here.
Yeah. And to cut back to my bantering about this lady, another part that really irritated me is, you know, the part where he's like rewinding her over and over and over again?
Yeah.
How bland was her acting in that scene? You would think this person that's just infinitely getting spammed back and reverse in time would start getting mad and start screaming like, stop doing that, you know? But she's just like, stop it.
She didn't want to be stereotyped as the mad black woman, dude.
Stop it. That was such a stupid, annoying scene to sit through. I was literally angry that scene was in the show, because why would you waste our time with a character that has, or an actress, I can't call her an actress anymore, an actor that doesn't care.
You can
about
call
the
her an
script.
actress, I think.
Like, it was just so annoying to watch this character be one of the main people in the first episode.
Yeah.
And they just give no effort in her role.
Well, I'm pretty sure her weird name was like one of the top 3 billings during the credits, so expect to see her, I imagine, in every episode from here on out.
Like I told you earlier, I think a much better person for this role, if they wanted a strong female character to be in this, I can't think of her real name, but in Game of Thrones, she played Brienne of Tarth. She's a very strong, muscular woman.
And she's like 6'6".
Yeah, she's tall, she's bulky, she could beat the crap out of anyone in that room.
I don't think she's getting cast in any romantic comedies, so she probably needs the work.
I think she would have been perfect in this role. Because I think she was in Star Wars, she played like Captain Phasm or something.
Phasma, yeah, the most wasted character of the new trilogy.
Yeah, she was such a good character that they didn't utilize at all. I think she would have been really good in this role, and it's sad to see that they wasted it on some throwaway actor that doesn't care about the role at all.
Yeah. Well, shit, would you say Loki was Kino, and are you looking forward to the rest of the season?
Yeah, I would say it's Kino. I'm definitely looking forward to more of it. I just really hope they don't give this lady much more lines. And I hope the writing going forward...
You're going to be disappointed.
I hope the writing going forward and the things that they say actually make sense from now on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I mean, as far as these, pilot episodes go, I'd say it's way better than the first WandaVision episode. Like, the first WandaVision is probably the weakest episode of that show.
Yeah.
And Falcon and Winter Soldier, I actually liked the first episode a lot. But,
yeah, I did too.
But Loki will probably end up being my favorite of the 3, just based on I like all the time shenanigans and like the idea of time cops who travel throughout, all these different time periods to try to stop an evil Time Lord. That's way more interesting to me than...
Wow, it sounds like you should be watching Doctor Who.
Should I be watching Doctor Who?
Doctor Who's a great show, man, and that's all it is time shenanigans and stopping people from doing stupid stuff in different times and different universes and stuff.
Yeah, but if I watch Doctor Who and I become a fan, then I would have to be a Doctor Who fan, and I don't.
You don't have to be a Doctor
Of
Who
all
fan.
the people who I don't respect on this earth, Doctor Who fans are pretty high up there.
Okay.
I don't want to go with this timey-wimey, topsy-wobbly, wibbly, whatever the fuck the stupid meme is. It makes me cringe.
The beauty is you don't have to be a part of that. I love Doctor Who, and I'm not part of that fandom at all.
Yeah, but every time you say Doctor Who, my respect for you goes even further into the negative.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if you watched it, I think you would like it. You'd enjoy it.
BIGS,
It's lighthearted
BIGS,
fun.
BIGS,
All
listen,
the fun.
listen here. If you select your 3 favorite episodes of Doctor Who, we can watch them together, and on the next episode of this show, we can review them, and I will decide if I want to watch the show.
But it doesn't work that way, because then it's so disconnected, and you won't know what's going on at that point.
I thought
in the show.
the episodes are standalone.
No.
They're like little standalone little stories.
No, I mean, to a certain extent, but every single episode, well, I guess there are some filler here and there, but overall, it matches an overarching story.
You can say the same thing about fucking Scrubs, and you can still watch individual episodes of Scrubs without knowing the rich history of JD and Elliot's relationship. You can still enjoy one episode.
I think that's way
There's
different.
not 3 good episodes of Doctor Who you can just watch to get somebody into it.
I mean, I guess I could find 3 that I really like.
What, do you want me to start from the 1950s fucking Doctor Who?
No,
and watch
start with Christopher Eccleston, episode 1 of the 9th Doctor, and watch from there. That's all anybody that's current Doctor Who fans, unless you're hardcore and you have seen all the old
So how
stuff.
deep and rich can this ongoing story be if you can skip the first 8 Doctors?
Because when it starts at the 9th Doctor
I'm
in the new seasons,
I'm gonna start watching JoJo at part 5?
It has like pieces of the past, and like it talks about some stuff here and there, but it's like the stuff before isn't important. But when you start with the 9th Doctor, it's like basically a completely different show, to me at least.
Okay, Biggs.
It's like disconnected completely from like the 50s Doctor Who.
How many episodes are in this season 9 or whatever of Doctor Who?
I couldn't tell you off the top.
Okay, I will watch the first 3 episodes of this Doctor Who season if you read the first 30 chapters of One Piece. That's an equivalent amount of material, and in a future podcast we can, review both of our favorite thing together as best buds.
Or
What do you mean,
or we could just make Doctor Who our next binge watch. That we finished Malcolm. We haven't really picked up anything.
We're
else,
doing
so
Golden Girls, I thought.
Yeah, we haven't started it, so we could just start Doctor Who.
Yeah, and you can read One Piece while I watch Doctor Who.
And once we catch up, because even I haven't seen the newest Doctor at all. So
Is that a woman, though? You really want to watch a woman Doctor Who?
New experiences for both of us.
More like Dr. Vagina. Because it's a woman.
So what did you think of Loki? Was it Kino? Would you recommend it?
I mean, a lot of people on Twitter tried to tell me I'd be, I would be a shitty Marvel fan if I liked it. So I guess I liked it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's fair.
So you really are going to do anything you can to not read any One Piece at all, huh, buddy?
If I make it to my grave without having to read a single chapter of One Piece, I think I succeeded in my endeavors.
I mean, what's the worst case scenario? That you don't like it? Like, what? Oh man, I wasted a whole hour reading something I didn't like.
Here's the thing. I've read a grand total of 2 manga in my entire life, and even that was exhausting, and that was stuff I liked.
You got exhausted reading Death Note?
I just don't care to read the mangas. I'd rather just watch the animations. And
Oh, then just watch a few episodes of One Piece then.
I mean, if I got on that site and found the one that wasn't 900 episodes long, I'll put it on my list.
Okay. You know what?
To date, the only manga I've read is I've read Death Note. I've read up to what's current on Jujutsu Kaisen, and I just started reading part 6 of JoJo because I finished part 5, and part 6 is going to be made into an anime next year, I think. But I was curious enough to start 6, and it was... I don't like part 6 as much as the others so far, but I'm interested enough to keep reading it. But still, I don't really care for it because for me, I'm small brain, and it takes me forever to read a single chapter. I get too caught up in looking at the pictures, and it's like, oh, you know what? It's been 20 minutes, and I'm only on the second chapter. Maybe I should stop reading.
I'm sure that the artist would love to hear that, because most people speed read through manga and the art never really gets appreciated.
For me, it's like I read the text on the page and I spend the next 10, 15 minutes looking over every little block of art.
Well, that's a good thing, dude. Like, that's just more to enjoy.
Yeah, because for me, when you watch the anime, you miss a lot out of the scenes, really, because, well, one, if you don't watch it dubbed, you have to read the subtitles. And while you're reading the subtitles, the transitions are going by and you're missing so much of it.
Yeah.
So to read the manga and be able to look at each scene and actually see like the funny little gags that the artist put in there, I think is really fun.
Yeah, I think that's my number one reason why I would tell somebody to watch a dub of an anime, is that you can actually watch the anime instead of your eyes being focused at the bottom third of the screen the whole time. Yeah. You can actually see what's happening.
I would love to do that, but for a lot of the anime, the English voice actors just suck.
Well, yeah, but that's the give and take.
They just suck. I'd rather have the better voice actor, even if I can't understand them.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, like I said, I want characters to be believable, and if it's just some garbage English voice actor that disconnects me from the character, then I just stop caring about it and stop watching.
Well, lucky for you, the English dub of One Piece is actually pretty good.
So there we go. I can just watch the English dub of the shortened whatever version you told me I could find online.
OnePace.net. Go check it out. Yeah. Well, I think that's it for this return to Monk. Biggs, are you excited for, I think, next month or maybe at the beginning of August, we will be filming Wheel of Cursed Meals 4?
I'm not ready for it. I don't think
you still have about a month or two.
I don't think my body will ever be ready for the wheel, but eventually the day comes and I solemnly walk over to the wheel and start filming, and then I'm just happy when it's over.
We are not going to paint the new wheel yet because I want to film the next episode of Monkey's Mailbag before we solidify the pics, because people have been saying, oh, I'm going to send you this in the mail to put on the wheel. I think somebody is still sending us estrogen pills to put on the wheel. So if I do get that in the mail, I would like to, replace something to put that on the wheel, because I think it's a funny idea.
Yeah, I think at least for now we could probably just paint over it with white.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. And I'm planning on recording the next Monkey's Mailbag for my birthday, which is like a month from today, basically. So we will really paint the wheel and solidify it in about a month or so, and then be filming the episode at the end of July, I think, for an early August premiere, hopefully. That's my tentative plan. So I guess you have a month to train, Biggs. You can go, I guess, chug down some pickle juice to prepare your body for the delicious flavors and so many other things. Start drinking thumbtacks, I guess.
I'll drink another one of your bleach smoothies.
Yeah, 2 Broke Girls smoothies. Well, that's it for Mumkey and Biggs. You got anything you want to plug?
No.